I'm Evita Robinson, and I'm the creator of the Nomadness Travel Tribe. I think everybody's born with homework, and it's our responsibility while we're alive to find out what that assignment is. And some people find it and they step into it fully and responsibly. Other people find it and they're terrified of it, so they live a life on autopilot and don't answer the call. Other people never take the time to find it. And I just think you fall within those categories. And I'm definitely one of the people that has been self-aware enough and conscious enough to know that I came here with purpose, with homework, and I believe that I've answered that call. I think I'm actively answering it every single day. I feel that I was born to create Nomadness. And it's crazy. I remember a couple months into creating it, when I was making the decision on if I was going to go on unemployment and, see what really happened with it, it was terrifying. I was broke. It was just a huge change, and I didn't know what this thing was that I'd created. And so I remember crying one day in my kitchen, saying to myself, I feel like this thing is why I was born. And when you figure out why you were born, everything else falls into place. You'll still be worried, you'll still have times of apprehension, but you'll also know that it will always work out, because divinely now it has to. This is your job. This is what you were put here to do. This is the answer that people need to a call, not just for yourself and your own problem, but for so many other people. And this is like a textbook case of it starts with one person and one idea. If I didn't go forward with Nomadness, there literally, and I can say this consciously, there's thousands of people around the world right now who wouldn't even know that each other existed. And so when you look back and are honest with yourself about the impact that you can have around the world by going forth and doing your homework that you were born with, then that's a whole different ballgame, and you live life completely differently. I've had two particularly trying times in my life. One was when my best friend from college, an ex-boyfriend, passed away in a really just crazy motorcycle accident in 2010. And that was me coming home after living abroad in Japan for a year. And I mean, dealing with that blow, speaking at his funeral, and just going through the process of letting go of somebody that was so close to you and such a supporter was, brain numbing. This man was like, when I graduated college and was super broke freelancing in television, he handed me 2 blank checks and was like, listen, fill it out for however much you need. Just give me 72 hours head time before, you cash the check so I know what's coming out. Like that type of just blind friend love support. And to quote unquote lose somebody like that really struck a huge chord with me. And I remember going to his wake and looking at the body and saying to myself, there's no bullshit with this life. You don't know when it's going to go. It's a one-way ticket, and you have to go for it. There is no turning back. And for some reason, I felt like Rudy's death was also my permission slip to go even harder than I was going before, because I've always had people on this side that have my back, my friends and family and support system. But now I felt like I had somebody that was so personal to me on the other side who would always have my back too. And I do believe that I know who my guardian angel is. And so losing Rudy was not just a transition for him from, the living state, but it was also a transition, I think, for a lot of people, including myself, in just how we viewed life from that point on. As far as professionally, we had a couple of my members were in Panama about a year ago, and it was just a trip that they had put together on a sale for MLK weekend. And one of the days they went on a, kind of just like a personal tour. There were 12 of them and one other person in the van, and their van got into a very horrific accident and went over a cliff. And actually 2 of my members died in that accident. One was in a coma for about 6 months, and everyone else at some point was at the hospital to at least get checked out. And dealing with the Panama accident was, unlike anything that I had ever dealt with in my life. And, I remember them, like, literally I was contacted about what was happening on the scene. Like, I was like one of the first people that they reached out to as everything was happening. And I'm seeing this like unfold in my Facebook messages, just like, yo, I can't sit here in my living room and watch this go down. Like, these are my people. And so within 24 hours, myself and two of my members, we actually flew down, and two of my business partners, we flew down, and it was just 3 days of like in and out of hospitals, checking on people, trying to find bodies, in and out of funeral homes, raising like $64,000 in 4 days in Nomadness to get people's hospital bills paid for, to get them out of the country so that they could be released, you know, all the way till people donating, you know, tens of thousands of miles so that families could fly in, you know, to check on or literally, you know, get the remains of their loved ones. It was just unlike anything that anyone could imagine. And that is something that, you know, working within a community of people and bringing a community of thousands together, that's something that we're always going to deal with. I think Panama is always going to be something that's in the back of everybody's mind. You know, we'll be on a trip completely unrelated, and if all of us are in a van, I've literally had moments of pause, or other people have even spoke up about a moment of pause of just like, you know, this reminds me of Panama. You know, like, that's something that I will always, always be dealing with. One thing that I know now is that it all works out. I was extremely anxiety ridden in my younger years, panic attacks and all, and a lot of it was anticipatory anxiety, you know, thinking about all the what ifs and what could happen and this, that, and the other, and not just allowing. And as I've gotten older, there is a sense of calm. There is also a sense of relief when you let go of all of these scenarios that you conjure up in your head and just let it be and let it unravel the way it's supposed to. You put in the work, you play your part, you do what you have to and what you have control over, but then the rest of it, you let it be. And so I think what I know now would definitely be along the lines of just understanding that no matter how crazy the circumstances look, it'll all work out. The word of wisdom that I would share with the generation of people, women specifically, coming behind me, is to just start. You know, people get way too caught up in what I call analysis paralysis. You know, like, they will just analyze something to the point where they don't move. They're stuck and they're waiting for this perfect moment and perfect scenario where the clouds part and the sun shines. And it's like, it doesn't work that way. You know, when you have a passion and you have a vision and something that you are driven for, a goal, the time is now. There's no such thing as perfection. Perfection is a journey, and your idea and vision of perfection is going to change as your vision changes and as you grow. Nomadness looks very different today from when it started. And you have to allow that to happen, but you have to just start. It's never going to be perfect enough. You're never going to have enough money. You're never going to be as qualified as you want to be. All of that stuff comes with time. Trust yourself, trust the process, and most importantly, just start. Women's lives matter.